Hi everybody, I'm Loren Lukens. I'm here in Merced, California in my studio with Don Hall for Don Hall Works. These are examples of what I'm going to be making today. Here's a finished version from stoneware version, and this is a porcelain piece that has bisque and ready to be fired. I'm ready to start throwing now. I have 2.5 pounds of clay to make a pretty good sized piece, you'll see. Once I have this ball of clay centered, I'll open all the way to the back. Finger all the way down to the bottom, and then open as if you were making a bowl or any other shape, but keep your finger all the way down on the back. It's a little bit tricky, but the goal is to keep this ring of clay attached to the bat as you pull it out. So I'm pressing out from the inside with my finger. With this finger I'm pushing out, and I'm keeping my thumb really pressing down at the same time. I'm not trying to pull up, I'm just pulling out. So I'm essentially just sliding this ring gradually across the bat. It's detaching from the inside and then reattaching to the outside as I go. Dragging my fingers on the bat as I go. And make sure you keep enough moisture going. I have a sponge full of water here that I'm just metering out as I go. And that's about as far as I'm going to go. Now I'll clean the inside of debris, scrape away whatever is left from the process until I have a nice clean line on the inside, and likewise on the outside. All right. Now I'm going to pull this up just a little bit, pinch a little bit at the base and pull it up with thumb and forefinger. And then I'm going to flatten it. I'm pulling up and pushing down, pulling up with my left forefinger and thumb, and pushing down with my forefinger in my right hand. All right, with my thumb and forefinger of my left hand, I'm pressing, squeezing, and with my right forefinger I'm pressing down and creating a flange. Creating a lip, I guess you'd call it. A nice flat lip. It's this shape, it's this L shape that gives the piece structure as you make the alteration. Now I'm going to use this rib that has a variety of different shapes carved into it, and I'll use that to texture this flange or the lip. Let's see, which one do I want to use? I'll use this one. Clean it up with a sponge. Nice consistent grooves that I've applied. Nice and clean. And now I'm going to add water to the inside of this. And then with a fettling knife from the inside, I'll cut the thing off and drag water underneath that rim. Nice and clean all the way to the bat. And go around a couple times. First time cuts it, second time really drags water underneath. All right, now I have a mobile rim, and I'll pull towards myself and push in with my left hand, and then alter it from the right also, and then turn it around so that it's straight across for myself, and do the same thing again. Nice and careful so that the alteration is even. And if you want to get fancy, you could do measurements here to make sure that you're equilateral. But I think that's close enough. And now I'm going to pull some of that water out, mop the water out. See how it's trying to fall over, but I can fix that by lifting the rim up and pushing this wall out and reattaching it to the bat, and that will straighten the wall up. And you can see that water comes squirting out as I do that, and mop it up as it goes. Okay, one more little attachment to the bat so that the wall is standing fairly straight. I'm going to point this just a little bit, stroking it towards myself, and then same way here. Now I'm going to be putting handles across these, and I'd like to have a place for the handles to be. Gallery for a handle to go across here. I'm going to pull up just a little bit and press this in so I have a spot for a handle. It also doubles the amount of clay at these attachments, so it adds a little extra strength too. And I'll flip this around and do the same on this end. There's a lot of ways to accomplish this. This is just a mechanism that I've come up with to do this. Now, while the piece is still as wet as it is, I'm going to actually create a spot here for the handle to attach that is eliminates some of this texture for just where the handle attaches, so that the leather hard handle will attach more thoroughly. Do the same thing on this side too. Just flattening an area for the handle attachment. You'll see in the next step what I'm doing here. All right, that's about it for this. Now I have rolled a slab that's the right dimensions for this, about 3/8 of an inch thick. I have it drying, and I also have made handles for this purpose. The handles that I made were done with an extruder, and I'm not going to show the extruder this time, but this is the die that I used to make it. It's one that I cut out of aluminum with a jeweler's saw, and I squeezed a tube of this shape and then made the handles with it. But for this purpose, I'm going to pull a handle. I have just a little bit of clay wedged up, maybe 2 pounds, make it into a cone, and I'm ready to start pulling. I need 2 handles, so I'll do it in 2 sections. In this case, I want the handle to be exactly the same width from end to end, as opposed to a handle that I would do for a mug or a pitcher, which might be tapered. I'm using my thumb to create texture. And it has a pretty good width to it. Nice wide strap handle. Could be tapered so that it's wider on each end, narrower in the center. That works too. That's pretty good. I'll lay that out and let it dry, and we'll do it again for the second handle. And a little bit of a trick here to make the two match each other. It's a nice thing, or convenient thing about using an extruder. You get the same shape every time. But you have to clean an extruder every time too. Nobody likes to clean an extruder. Pulling handles is an art in itself. It's a technique to learn that's as important as learning to throw. And takes practice, and you get better and better at it as you do it. And you develop your own style too. That looks pretty good. We'll call that. All right, I have a couple of handles that need to be dried and prepared a little more before I do the assembly. But it's time to go and do the assembly on the pieces I have ready. So these are pieces that I threw yesterday, the similar piece that I just threw. But you can see that this is a fairly leather hard piece. This is the slab that I've rolled on a slab roller yesterday, and I have the handle pieces set aside too. So now I'm ready to do the assembly. Make sure that it's all sitting fully within the confines of the slab. I'll use a tool to mark a parameter. And I'll even do one on the outside so that I know exactly how wide this gallery needs to be. I'll set this aside, flip this over. It's stiff enough that it'll hold itself up, and there it is sitting ready to be scored.
There are several how-to slab videos on this channel at Don Hole Works.
a crosshatch. I think it's a good idea, not just around, but also across. All right, I have slip that I saved from yesterday's throwing. Fairly stiff slip. If the slip is too wet, I have found that it promotes cracking because it promotes shrinkage. The slip that you add is the glue that attaches the pieces together, but there's a huge amount of shrinkage that happens in the early stages of drying, and it's a fine line to balance between too wet and too dry. I know there's a controversy about whether you should slip both surfaces, and I don't know. I've been doing this a long time, and I kind of gone back and forth on this a little bit. But sticky to sticky is good. And I'll even go back and score just a little bit more on one of the surfaces before I do the attachment. All right, I've got it in there. Now, very carefully, fingers on the inside, fingers on the outside, pressing down and smearing just a little bit. This is the most important part right here, where I'm really trying to press the clays together, the slabs together, not just at the seam, but think of it as pressing the center of this rim down onto the slab that you formed. I'll come back to the seams in a minute, but I'm using quite a bit of force. Nicely attached. Now I'll smear this seam together with the tip of my finger on the inside. Really smear that all together. You don't want it to smear out too much into a curved thing. You want it to be fairly abrupt change, because you can get surface cracking from that too much of a smear. And it's really important that the pieces of clay be very close to the same hardness. And almost always, the earlier in this process you can do it, the better. Now I'm going to work on the outside with my tip of my finger, all the way around, smearing that seam together. Make sure there's no little air bubbles or anything, any place it can separate. And now it's time to do the cutoff. And for that, I've done this fettling knife with a bendable blade, and it's made at an angle so I can reach under here and cut it off straight up and down. I'm going to flip this whole thing over now, back onto its head. Now I'm going to use this roller tool to really make sure that this is attached. And then, as a finishing it, I'm going to use the Sureform to trim any excess clay off. And a final trim with a rib, clean that up. And a finish with a sponge. And the attachment has been accomplished. Now, I'll flip it back over. And it's time to attach the handles. These are the handles that I made from extrusion. And after they came out of the extruder, I bent them into this U shape. This is what I will do to those pulled handles I just made. And now you can see where the handles are going to attach here. But first I need to trim where the handles are going to be, trim them for length and for shape. A little more. Like that. And I'll copy that on the other one. That didn't work too well. Fatten the ends so it has something to attach with. Here we go. That looks about right. I'll draw lines around it so I know where I'm going. So you can kind of see why I wanted to flatten those galleries for the handles. Since the clay is a little bit dry, it's better, at this point, it's better to have those galleries created already. Score and slip both surfaces. Spit makes some of the best adhesive. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Okay. Wiggle it in really good. Press it all the way around. Clean up. Here we go. All done. Well, this is the finished piece. It needs to dry now, and then it'll go into the bisque and do its thing. I hope you enjoyed the video making of this oval platter. I have several other videos on Don Hall Works. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time.